Hi folks, I'm going to start a video on the homemade battery, and I figure that let's just start at the beginning, which is testing the individual cells. I got a whole bunch of these guys, Samsung ICR, I don't know, can you see that? Let's find some light here. 18650 22F. Anyway, I got those, and I needed to test them, and I've been testing cells for three or 4 years now, something like that. Anyway, I put together this little testing station over time, and what it is it's a couple of wood structures that I built out of scraps that I had laying around the basement, and I found a UPS for $8 at Goodwill, and it works. It's in perfect condition. It's crazy. That's one of those things that you just don't expect to find, and then you find it. It's just weird. Anyway, oops, I'm probably doing something bad with the mic there, so let me get away from that. But anyway, so everything's hooked up through the UPS, and then I got a switch on the side here. Let's see if I can, and then that powers a couple of power supplies, a 12 volt and a 5 volt. 5 volt powers the TP4056 boards, and the 12 volt powers the Opus and the iMacs, and also this little handy programmable power supply here. And let's see, so when I first get a cell, if it's not, physically damaged, I'll go ahead and throw it in the TP4056 panel here, which I've got a little knife switch that I just got those because I thought they were cool. But I got a little knife switch that provides power to the TP4056 when I'm using it, and I can turn that off when I'm not, but I still get to see all the information. That's still powered. And so I got a voltmeter, amp meter, and a couple of temperature sensors and displays. And then on the boards I replaced the surface mounted resistor with a potentiometer, so I can adjust the maximum current that those guys use. And then they just sit in a little slotted piece of wood. And then I've got this couple magnets and a switch there, and then four cell holder, but I only put 2 in there. I paired them together so they get 500 milliamps each, at least on these two, and these two I've turned them down to 500 milliamps max, and I put batteries that or cells that I'm not sure about on those, and do those individually. Otherwise I do these in pairs, and if they charge up okay, they move on to the Opus. If they don't charge, well, then they get recycled. If they get hot, I cool them down, discharge them on the Opus, and then try putting them back on the TP4056s. And if they still get hot, well, then they get recycled. Anyway, the good ones that charge all the way up get put on the Opus on a discharge cycle, and that gives me the milliamp hours, of course. And the Opus, I built my own back cover out of some scrap wood that I found in the basement, and I put a little fan on there that's wired up to the same terminals as the original fan, so whenever the circuit board decides it wants the fan on, why, it gets 2 fans. And So that's my Opus, and then once I have the milliamp hours, I throw them on the IMAX clone here with a little custom 4-cell holder in parallel, and I go ahead and storage charge those, and then then I put them on a shelf and leave them for a week or two and see if they still hold a charge. If they do, great. If they don't, well, I might retest them, but they probably just get recycled. And then this little guy, that's just for testing out weird cells, and these things are sometimes more smart than I want them to be. They're too smart for their own good. You plug a cell in, and it says, "Oh, that cell's just bad," or it'll give some other error code. With this guy, I can put the volts and amps in there that I want, and he's not going to tell me no. He just does what he's told, and if the cell is truly bad, then no good will come of it. But I don't know how many cells that this guy wouldn't charge, this guy wouldn't charge, but this guy does, and so it's way less picky. You just have to watch it, is all. It's not automatic. But that's my little. Oh, and also I got a little LED light on the back here with a dimmer switch, just to get a little bit of light in here, because otherwise this is a really dark space, and this lightens it up a little bit. So I like that. That was from a failed project, and I had some, so I just had used leftover parts. So that's also on the 12-volt power supply. So this whole thing is powered by one plug on the UPS there. So that's my testing setup and kind of my procedure real quick.